Hey guys, how's it going? Today I'm in the 2018 Kia Rio EX. This is the 4-door. A few weeks ago we tested the 5-door hatchback and we thought we'd get into the sedan. It's a little bit softer, a little bit more luxurious, and it's a pretty nice car overall. Let me show you around it and we'll take it for a little drive here. It is incredibly windy today. We're getting 40-50 mile an hour gusts, so I apologize for the audio in advance. Pretty nice looking car in my opinion. Small footprint. It feels lightweight. I like this red color. You have a pretty decent amount of room in the back seat. Set to my driving position at 5'10". I have plenty of leg room. Nice visibility back here. And overall, a pretty nicely appointed interior. For the $18,400 MSRP on this, pretty nice, comfortable car. Really great ride quality, more than enough grip and handling than whoever owns one of these will use. And look at the size of this trunk. It is huge. Nice spare tire in the back, 60/40 folding rear seats, and a backup camera. One complaint I have is there isn't really a place to grab onto to lower the trunk, so I just press the top of this backup camera here. This car's been pretty economical for me this week. I've been averaging around 34 to 37 miles to the gallon on the readout between city and highway driving. Really nice ergonomics in the driver's seat. You've got a good old-fashioned handbrake. Nice reverse camera so you can see where you're going. And I do really like this, is there's a perfect place to set your phone right here above the aux and USB cable inputs. And there's some nice little storage areas. Not a huge center console, but very usable. Place to put your cups. Pretty nice little car. At low speeds, steering is lightweight. Overall, the car has kind of just a light, nimble feeling to it. And I found myself pretty surprised by the power from the engine. It has a decent amount of torque and pull from a go. The automatic transmission works great. The 6-speed is nice and responsive. Does a little bit of hunting sometimes on the highway. But overall, it's worked really, really well for me this week. And it just makes for a nice transmission. Really good visibility from inside. Ride quality in this sedan is just a little bit softer, a little bit more comfortable than the hatchback, as far as I can remember when I drove the hatchback a couple months ago. There's a really nice balance between just soft ride, very little NVH for this class, and handling. This car strikes a really nice balance between those three things, and it errs a little bit more on the side of comfort, which I appreciate. A little bit slippery out here, not a lot of grip from these Eco tires. This car has a sport mode. Kind of gives you quicker shifts, a little bit more power when you dip into the throttle early. You can move the transmission over into manual mode and select the gears yourself. Shifts are a little bit quicker in sport mode. Do a little bit of a pull here. A little bit of a delay. Nothing major. Back into automatic mode. Let's take it out of sport mode. Decent amount of turn in. More grip than anyone would ever need in a car like this. Kind of defaults to understeer around these entrance ramps. Really easy, safe car to drive at the limit. And like I said earlier, a surprising amount of power. Once you get over 5,000 RPM, it really starts to pull. As you'll notice here a little bit, one of my main complaints with this car, it's actually one of my only complaints, is that at highway speeds, especially on a windy day, it tends to get blown around just a little bit. 70, 80 miles an hour, you'll just kind of have to hold on to the wheel a little bit more. And this is a lightweight car, and it definitely feels it. I will say, though, there isn't a lot of wind noise and not a lot of NVH at speed. It's very quiet going down the road. Infotainment, as in all Kias and Hyundais, is great. It's very responsive. Nice quick system to use. Very ergonomic. You've got buttons for the radio and tuning, as well as lots of nice information here on the dashboard with fuel economy numbers, distance, speedometer, stuff like that. This car is really easy to get used to. The ergonomics are fantastic throughout. Everything has a nice, consistent feel to it. Buttons feel well made. This is something that should age pretty well. No creaks or rattles of any kind so far, with 6,400 miles on it. Got a little place to store your sunglasses up here. These move, block the sun. This steers. This goes. This stops. Everything you need. Not a lot you don't in the new Kia Rio EX. One last pull here. Oh yeah. Now in this week's loan, last time I had a Kia Rio with the hatchback, I did a little bit of a fuel economy challenge. This week I've been driving this thing pretty spiritedly and haven't really kept fuel economy in mind. And I can see here on the accumulated info readout on the dash that over 2,300 miles, this car's averaged 34 mpg. That's pretty impressive. And I assume that's a pretty good mix of city and highway driving. I've been doing a 50-50 mix, roughly, and getting around 34 to 37 on a regular basis. There's a trip computer in here that will just reset every new drive that you take, and I've been getting pretty high numbers with that. This wind is crazy today. One thing I will say is this car has just a little bit of an induction note. It's almost like it has an intake at lower revs. And the engine isn't particularly loud, but once you get into it, it sounds pretty good. And I would be curious to try the manual transmission, however, but this automatic definitely does the job. It's a pretty decent transmission. I always say I enjoy smaller, compact cars just for the fact that they're a little bit of an underdog. You go in with somewhat lower expectations, and they tend to kind of punch above their weight just a little bit in their class. And this Rio is definitely an exception. I would say it's just a really nicely balanced, comfortable daily driver, great visibility, great warranty, should be pretty reliable for years to come, and with a low cost to own, with fuel and maintenance, you really can't go wrong. One thing I do really appreciate with all the potholes that we have here in Michigan is just the nice ride quality that this has. It's small, it's a nice size, it doesn't feel cheap or tinny. My only real complaint is that it does tend to get blown around just a little bit on the highway. I would like just a little bit more stability from this. That could be the tires, could just be the nature of the car, but I don't remember that being a factor in the hatchback. Alright guys, as we squeeze into this tight parking space, that's going to wrap up the video. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and we've got 3 press cars coming in this week. A whole lot more for you guys to see on the channel. We'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.